When I first met this guy, the pirate from movie Captain Phillips, you know, the one that says, "Look at me, I'm the captain now." I thought he was kind of hot, you know, all malnourished and shit. But I cannot sleep with man if he's not my brother. So I go to Ancestry.com to see if he related to me, and bam, I find out he is my brother. So now I'm about to make him my captain, if you know what I mean. When I first met...
What? That's not right. That's not right. That's not right. That's not right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program, special edition, live election night, early start. Yes, I started early. I know yesterday we talked about me starting 8 o'clock. I know. You see this eye? You see this eye? I'm not supposed to be here, okay? It's gross. It's disgusting. I should be wearing like a thing over my face. I should wear a bag over my head. Oh my gosh, it's really much worse than I thought. Wow, that's bad. If this was not election night, I would definitely have taken tonight off. If it was not election night, I would have taken tonight off. I'm going to be like self-conscious about this all night now. Okay. Well, anyway, it's kind of like, imagine if you have a scratched cornea, but it hurts more than that. That's what I've been dealing with all day. And seriously, if it wasn't election night, I totally would have been like, there's no way I'm doing a show tonight. But sunglasses, you're saying? Should I do sunglasses? It's like I could barely see without any glasses at all. Now I'm going to try and like obscure my vision with... Yeah, anyhow. I'm on like I'm like Percocet level Advils. I was trying to find some Tylenol in the house here. It wasn't finding that. I think Lady Logic's going to show up soon and drop some Tylenol on my lap, and you'll see me just sort of like popping them down like they're Pez. But we're here for election nights, and I hope you stick with me. I hope. So far, it's not going well. I guess it's election night. Things are happening here. I'm going to be crying, not because of Mamdani or my governor, Mikie Sherrill. No, if you see me crying, that's dedication. That's heart. That's grit. That is me in pain, in massive pain. But there's no crying in elections. Where was we? This is way worse than I thought it was going to be. Part of the reason it's way worse, and I'm not talking about the elections, although from what I've seen so far, it's not going well. But the reason I'm saying it's way worse is because I actually have a light like directly in front of me, and this is something I hadn't really considered. In the whole scheme of things. As to like how that was just going to affect my entire evening. But we got an extended show to you for you tonight, and look at that. Oh, that's very sweet of you. Thank you so much. Lady Logic picked up from me my typical election night sushi. That's what she got. She went out and got me. Wow, this is really gross. I'm really crying. It's not pink eye. Okay. It's not pink eye. It's just my eye is really, really sore. All right. Let's check out can we get to the election? It's not about me tonight. Tonight's not about me. Tonight is about election night. We're going to start in New York City. You're going to be $10 if Lady Logic brings you an eye patch and I wear it. Lady Logic. That's what I should have made tonight's goal. No, I have ibuprofen. I need Tylenol. Okay, Tylenol. I also put up a goal that if I get enough super chats, I'm going to put on an eye patch. Do we have one?
I don't know.
You gotta get me. So that's what we got. That's what I need. I need an eye patch. She's trying to see if she's going to check if we have one. If I have one, I told her, I'm going to be Dan Crenshaw tonight. I get an eye patch. Arr. It's so sad. Oh my God. New York City Mayor, speaking of sad, New York City Mayoral Election results. What? These are our live results. Mamdani. He's basically running away with it. Oh my God, this is so bad. This is so bad. This is going to be really bad. So I grew up in this area. No, right there. No, that's where I lived when I got married. Yeah, there you go. Technically, I was in Flushing. Yeah, that's where I grew up, in case you're wondering. Close my eye and tape a gauze square. Okay. Fine. I'll make it tomorrow's goal. I'll make it tomorrow's goal because I don't think this eye is gonna look any better. I'm gonna change my goal. I'm gonna change the goal. I'm totally changing the goal. Oh my God. This is sad. Can I end the goal? What do I end? No. How do I end the goal? They're not letting me end the goal. Let me end the goal. Hello. Continue. Oh no, what the heck? They're not letting me end the goal. They suck. What if I did this? A pirate eye patch fun arg was way better than 7-Eleven sushi. Aye, matey. That was a great suggestion there. That was a really great suggestion. Anyhow, so it looks like Mamdani. Don't worry. I have a lot more than just like these updates here. I got a lot of coverage for you as to like what's been going on in elections, how badly the Democrats have been trying to steal my governor Jack Ciattarelli from being able to take his rightful place as at the helm of my fair state. I haven't even looked at Virginia yet. I'm 0 for 2. I thought that okay. I'll show you what I saw in New Jersey. Look at this. And I know I hate the New York Times, but they happen to be like the best at this. If you actually go through the different sites, from my experience so far, President Trump has loomed over the race in New Jersey governor. How is that? What are you talking about? Oh, he's making up ground. Oh, go Jackie, go Jackie, go Jackie. It's your birthday. Look how far away he is. He's so far away. How is he 300,000 votes behind? 340, 330, 324,000 votes. Oh my God. How are we going to make up 324,000 votes? 72% of the votes are in. This is not looking good. This is not looking good. Not looking good at all. Oh, now you understand double negatives, Joe. This is not looking good. I don't like this. Oh gosh. This is good. This is really bad. This is really bad. I was hoping it'd be a lot closer than this. I was hoping a lot closer. Bannon, send you a DM, 3-minute video. Rich Barris on Bannon explains tonight's results. Need to watch. Closing your eye and gauze is for your comfort. Yeah, but I understand it's for my comfort. But look at how pretty it is this way. Yeah, but it's. What am I going to do? I'm going to tape around my face. I should just get an eye patch. That's what I really should have gotten. What did the doctor say about my eye issue? All right. Well, I would tell you, but that'd be a HIPAA violation. It's not expired?
No, not that long ago.
No, it's only mild. It's only mildly expired. Any luck on the eye patch?
No.
I didn't realize how bad this looks. As I'm on camera here, I'm like, wow, it looks really gross. I'm kind of like embarrassed.
That I can help you with.
What are you going to help me with? You'll hear Lady Logic ferreting around. But if you want to know what the doctor said about my eye issue, I have dryness in my eyes.
Joe woke for a little.
Okay, those are the gayest sunglasses I've ever seen.
Such a picture look for
No, nope. That's what I should have made the goal. I should have held off on the goal. This is not going well for the good people of the world. This is really not going well. Mikie Sherrill has a 300,000 vote lead. Yeah, it looks good on you. This is what she gives me. 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 We'll put this on for $100. That's what she
Kind of
gives
like
me.
an eye patch.
Yeah, it's somewhere between eye patch and Elton John. somewhere in there. Yeah, so if you want to know about my eye issue, I had this issue where I basically have dryness in my eyes. This is a relatively new thing going back for like the last 6 months. And apparently I'm supposed to be sticking like this cream in my eyelid, which I cannot touch my eye for the life of me. So I haven't really been good about that. And so when I wake up in the morning, often I'll actually feel like it feels like my eyelids are like, this is getting, anyway. So my eyelids affect my cornea while I'm sleeping. And when I wake up in the morning, I sometimes feel some pain in my eye. Sometimes this eye, usually this eye, sometimes the left eye. So this morning, it was really, really bad pain. And my optometrist tells me, yeah, you kind of ripped that cornea. So, yeah. There you go. Go team. Very painful. Anyway, but I'm not going to be talking about it all night. So this is in many ways far more painful. I was thinking that we would be looking at like a 52-48 kind of splits, not 56-43. Those 4 points are very, very big. It just feels much more difficult to overcome with 73% of the votes in. But who knows? We're still holding out hope. Let's see how Virginia is doing. Hopefully Winsome Sears is doing better, although I am skeptical. She ain't. Yeah, I feel like the Republicans, I need to take better care of me. No, I'm not vaxxed. I haven't taken any vaccines in the last 5 years. So when I was younger, I got vaxxed, but not in the last 5 years. So, yeah. She is getting geschmet. This is what you call like getting geschmetted, and so is Jack. I don't understand. They told us. All right, let's get some explanations. Let's get some explanations before we cover just how we got here and what we're potentially looking at, particularly with respect to Mamdani. But this was a really weird day. A really weird election day just ends up being like a really, really weird day, just with weird news. But Kimmy says that she's sharing with me a 3-minute video here where Rich Barris is explaining why it is that things are going so poorly for the GOP today. So out of deference to Kimmy and her sharp insights and out of appreciation for what she brings here.
For one job for the.
This is Rich Barris, People's Pundit. Good friend. Is a friend. I wouldn't call him a good friend. Friend of the show. One of the first people I met through social media.
And John talk, and I'm thinking back to election 2024. We knew it was over before anyone called it was over. We were sitting there. We were talking about the coalition, and I said then, and we all discussed it, the number one job for the Republican Party was to convince these voters that they are like Donald Trump and that they will follow Trump's lead, not to convince the voter that they're just going to go back to business as usual and we're going to make Donald Trump's administration and his agenda more like the Republican Party. The Republican Party is filled with losers. They were dead until Donald Trump came along and resurrected them like Lazarus. It was over. They're nothing. They don't have a base. I can't be anymore. Look, I've been screaming for months about this. And then you got clapping seals on one side. You got consultants making millions of dollars on the other side. And I'm telling you, Steve, John just said something 5 points behind Glenn Youngkin in your county, John Solomon, 5 points behind Mayoral Rand. And that was still remarkable considering how bad the candidate was at the top of the ticket. I've been saying this now for months. I don't care what's going on in Ukraine. I don't care what's going on in Venezuela. I don't care about any of this. These voters were in Virginia dramatically impacted by the shutdown. The MAGA agenda that these people voted for all over the country was designed to make their lives better.
Yep.
Pivot back to the people who voted for you and make their lives better. And maybe you can salvage this before it's too late. That's it. I mean, this is a bloodbath tonight. The House of Delegates is going to be a supermajority Democratic House of Delegates by the end of tonight.
Give us that right now. The House Delegates is going to be what?
It'll be a supermajority if this keeps up. Bobby Orrick's about to lose in HD 66, which is unbelievable. HD 71 is already gone. I mean, this is horrible. And people are out there like, these were blue states. New Jersey.
No.
As far as I know, I'm the only pollster who's been polling MAGA since you guys were running it back in 16 and doing something very special. And we also keep these databases of these voters that you guys appeal to. First-time voters, 56 years old. You know, I mean, it's really remarkable. And we're looking at Pennsylvania back then, and it looked a lot like New Jersey after Trump was done with it in 2024. It didn't have to be this blue. All right, this idea like, we were underdogs to begin with, that is a cop-out.
No,
that
terrible
is
ground
loser
game.
speak. End of story. This coalition could have changed the map like the Roosevelt coalition for 30 years. But people want to cling to this old style of fake conservatism, which doesn't conserve anything anyway. What are you conserving?
It never conserved anything. Conservatism never conserved anything. It was just, we're not liberals. That's what it was. It was a party of no. This is what people forget. So many people forget this. I'm so glad he brings this up here. Okay, and thank you for sharing this, Camille. I'll come back to it. But this is the Conservative Party had no platform under the Tea Party. It was the party of war and the party of no. So under Obama, it was just like the party of no. That's all it was. I mean, Obama was complaining about the obstructionism, and it was obstructionism, mostly because his policies were awful. Terrible policies, so it was good that they were being obstructionist, but there was no sort of understanding of the importance to conservative values. It was just, what do they stand for? They're the party of no on gay marriage. They're the party, that's what basically they're saying. We're the party that's telling you no. All these changes you want to implement, no. What about making people's lives better? What are you doing for that? Oh, we got nothing. We got nothing. We're the party when it comes to the Obamacare. We're the ones who say no. Okay, well, what are you doing? Well, we're saying no. Well, when you're not saying no, what are you saying? What do you mean? There's always something to say no to. So it was like, it's the reason that's not inspirational. It's not inspirational unless you're going to get very aggressive with the way the left comes out and willing to call the other side evil, which they were too cowardly to ever do that. So when you go out there and basically start screaming, they're Nazis, they're whatever, we have to save the world. So that can ratchet up, many of your diehards. And particularly during non-presidential elections, that can certainly help. That definitely can help. But basically everything about the Republican Party until Trump came along for much of my lifetime was, ever since Reagan's gone, maybe first Bush, under Bush 2, it became about, fight for America during the first part of during his first administration. Second administration, less so. Second administration was just sort of like a malaise from Operation Desert Storm. Or was it shock and awe? I don't know, I get confused. But it's been a while, and I'm fighting through something over here. So yeah, at the end of the day, that's not a winning message. Along comes Trump and says, "Make America great again." And what he happened to tap into is this notion of going back to conservative values, which honestly, he never really understood. He never really pushed. It's people around him. It was folks, not me specifically, but folks echoing basically things like what I say here on a nightly basis about the value of the Constitution. You ask me, I don't think Trump understands very much about the Constitution or constitutional values. What he understands is how to make a nice jab. He understands that exceptionally well, probably better than anyone in politics ever. He understands what people want to hear. So he understands how to identify a problem and how to suggest solutions, which actually sound like they could remedy the problem he's identifying. So all of these are reasons to get a rally behind him. And because he embraced this notion of make America great again, basically ended up having folks like me saying that's about conservative values. And a lot of people agreeing with that. One of the side things about this whole eye issue, by the way, is that I do have like a nose issue. So I am going to just sort of pause here for like 1 second and just...
slowly managing the decline of the country for decades. What's left to conserve? Donald Trump and MAGA is about restoration because you already destroyed it. People are hurting out there. They can't pay their bills. They come out of college thinking they did the right thing with enormous amounts of debt. A socialist was just elected in New York City, not because, the colleges did this and the colleges. I'm so sick. These are all excuses. People were hurting. Cuomo would have beaten him in the primary if these people felt like somebody was addressing their concerns, right? And Donald Trump was it for a lot of these people. I mean, that's what it comes down to. That he was it. And Republicans needed to come to grips with this. We're 10 years into this movement, Steve, and there still are a ton of people who don't understand it's about Trump and it's about America first.
It's about putting American policies, American interests first. Okay, so if you want to know about the nose issue, because I see some people asking questions about that, when I'm feeling pain here, it reaches into my sinus levels, and the next thing I know, my nose starts running. It's like I said, there's reasons I'm telling you that if it wasn't election night, I was like, I'm not doing a show tonight. I'm falling apart. So, yeah, it's not pretty. It's not pretty, but it is what it is. It's not pink eye. If you come late, you miss a few things. Okay, I walk through what the whole eye issue is. So, anyhow, it's not looking good. And I'll tell you right now, Prop 50, that's going to pass. Prop 50 is going to pass. I'd be surprised if it doesn't pass. Oh my gosh. Excuse me 1 minute. I was like, I'm not spending a whole show here with just 2 tissues. That's not happening. That's not happening. All right. So we'll go through some updates, and then I want to share with you some of the issues that happened today, which made people somewhat suspicious about some of the Democrat tactics, particularly in the great state of New Jersey. But right now, they declared Mikie Sherrill the winner in my state here. God help us. With 80% of the votes in, and she has a 350,000 vote lead. And a lot of people have issues with what happened here. Is it over in New York City as well? Are they declaring it over there? They did declare Zohran Mamdani the winner. Great. Awesome. And Virginia, if it hasn't fallen yet, it has fallen. Virginia has fallen to Abigail Spanberger. Spanberger. Gosh, ridiculous. Did Jay Jones win? Even this lunatic Jay Jones won. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Look at this. This is the guy who basically said that he would kill his opponents. He wants them to die and their kids to die. This lunatic Jay Jones. Unbelievable. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Well, this is a bloodbath. This is an absolute bloodbath. Not going to kid you. No, they want a bloodbath? I think he means that's what people want. They want people who are going to basically say, yeah, let's kill our enemies. That's probably true. That is probably true. Got anything else in New Jersey for me? Sherrill plus 54 in Essex. Unbelievable. All these counties shifting left since last year. Unbelievable. Man. They start on California Prop 50 yet? No. I have a feeling this is going to be exactly like, they're going to be like, it's going to be like, you know, how like when they have the presidential race where they're like 0% of California has been counted and then like 1% has been counted and we're declaring this for the Democrats. That's what's going to happen with the yes vote over here. That's how I'm expecting it to fall. That there's no chance that they're going to, whatever number of ballots they need, they're going to have. Whatever. That's, I have no confidence in the integrity of the California election. You should go out there and vote if you're in California, 100%. I have no confidence. But let's look at why I have some issues here. I got much to share with you, much thoughts and love to share with you. So this is what was happening in New Jersey today, just so you get some sort of idea as to like the shenanigans that are going on. First, oh yeah, there was bomb threats.
Governor Mark Meredith is live in Montclair with the latest for us. Mark.
Ainsley, Brian, and Lawrence, good morning once again, friends. Some brand new information coming into our newsroom that we've learned that these threats were communicated electronically via email to at least 7 different counties across the Garden State. These threats certainly being taken seriously, and out of abundance of caution, some of the polling places were temporarily either closed or suspended as they moved voters to different locations. And then as they were doing those searches, then either able to reopen some of the facilities. We got a statement from the Attorney General of New Jersey. I want to put it up on the screen for you. It says, law enforcement officers have responded at each affected polling place. Some of these polling locations have already reopened to the public. The polls in New Jersey opened at 6 a.m. sharp. We have not seen seen any added security in the last hour or so, but it is certainly possible that we could see more because at this polling facility right here behind me, we are going to be seeing the Democratic nominee for governor, Mikie Sherrill. She'll be out here with her family to cast her.
Awful. Awful. There's always election day shenanigans. This is why you gotta get in there early. Most states have early elections. You always have to get in there early because there's always shenanigans. This really looks like I'm crying over the election. You're just now gonna be like, you should have seen Joe crying when his state fell to Mikie Sherrill. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I couldn't take it. I was like sitting there weeping that Jack Ciattarelli lost. It wasn't just the bomb threats though. No, there's more. Check this out.
My name is Mike Rothman. I'm the mayor of Down Township in South Jersey, and we are currently experiencing some poll machine problems in both of our two districts in Down Township. District 1, the machine is still not working as of now. 35 people have gone to cast their vote there, and they're all still doing write-in provisional ballots. In District 2,
yeah, because those are the areas where there's a lot of Republicans.
Voting machines that were not operational until 7:10 this morning. I have 4 to 5 residents that were turned away, not given a provisional or write-in ballot. They told them that they would not be able to come back. They had to go to work today, and they didn't have an answer resolved for them to cast their vote. And I can honestly tell you that I'm appalled, not just as the mayor of Down Township, not just as somebody that served in the service, and it's not allowing somebody to exercise their constitutional right to vote. So anything that can be done, the attention that's put on this matter is greatly appreciated, but we are right now in the middle of everything that's wrong with this system. Thank you.
Not to be the, well, actually guy, but actually, it's not really a constitutional right that everyone thinks it is. Not technically. Sorry, when my eye hurts, I eat grapefruit. It's not technically, at least federal constitution. I haven't looked at the New Jersey state constitution in the last 50 years or so. So I can't tell you definitively whether it's in our state constitution. But yeah, it's not really your right. There's no constitutional right to vote. This is a common mistake made by common folk who are often, usually, doing their best. And maybe it's an assumption they build in, unless you're going to say, nah, there's no way to say it. Now, you as an individual have no constitutionally protected right to vote. That's just wrong. But I know he means well. And Real Robert reporting it's not just in New York, it's happening across America in Democrat-controlled cities. Here's the state of California. Not only are illegal aliens receiving free health care, they're also voting in U.S. elections because of course they are. Of course they are. Former California State Representative Bill Asaley, now U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, confirms exactly that. So I don't think this was like today or anything like that, but this is the point that they're getting at.
The idea that someone would actually vote illegally with the penalties that are in place.
It happens all the time, Senator. It happens all the time. You're just saying it's not widespread. But I'm saying we don't know how spread it is because we don't detect it. I'm on the website for the state of California to register to vote. On the section that has where you put in your driver's license, your last 4 of your social, there's a box underneath each one that says...
By the way, this guy is awesome. He really is. He's helped Trump so much in California.
I don't have one. And then you're allowed to proceed to go to vote. So this idea that you're not allowed to register to vote unless you present some sort of identification is not accurate. It's not true. It's not being implemented in the state of California. Additionally, people are being registered to vote at the DMV. And we already know based on audits that the DMV has improperly registered people to vote, including illegal immigrants. And we have immunity in place that says if the DMV registers someone who is not eligible, they're immune from prosecution. So
So there's nothing safeguarding. There's no reason they shouldn't be voting, but you're just assuming they're not going to because, well, there's some penalties.
I don't believe we have sufficient safeguards in place that detect and prevent people from committing voter fraud.
And he's obviously correct because there's no safeguard. So no safeguard means inadequate safeguards. Other than, well, we have this deterrent. People go to jail for murder also. That's a deterrent, and yet it happens. The difference is that hopefully murder gets prosecuted. This never does. So, yeah. A lot of people have grave concerns about Mamdani. Grave concerns, and they should, because he's a problem. He's a very, very big problem. Let's talk a little bit about the problems of Mamdani and what New York can be looking forward to. So, good luck, New York. Good luck, New York. If you were worried that New York was basically a financial disaster, you don't even want to know what's coming. You don't want to know what's coming. So I'm talking to you, all my former neighbors, and I guess still technically compared to most of you watching, probably still my current neighbors, considering I'm in New Jersey, just over the bridge from you guys. But yes, all my fellow New Yorkers, I say woe unto you, because you want to know who's running New York right now? It's people riding shotgun to Zohran Mamdani like this dude.
Zohran is literally attempting to do what conservatives say.
Imagine sitting in anything called Socialism 2025, and they're wearing masks at the meeting. Now, perhaps the masks are to disguise who they are. Perhaps. I don't know. Perhaps it's because if you just the overall nature of these four individuals here on screen, they probably look a lot better wearing masks than unmasked. So it could be it's an aesthetic thing that is like, dude, get the mask. But yeah, move to New York City, join the utopia. So here's the Socialism 2025. I should join up and just basically go to some of these meetings and sit in.
We want to do, which is provide gender-affirming care to anyone who wants it for free, and we're going to ship people. We're going to fly people in and pay for their hotel rooms, and we're going to do all of the Fox News stuff. We're getting ideas from Fox News. I want to know, we'll do that.
Yeah. They say what we're going to do, and then we say they're full of crap, and then we say, but that is what we're going to do. So you're the one's full of crap.
But most importantly is we collaborated with the Zohran Mamdani campaign.
I wasn't exaggerating when I said that his mask was for aesthetic reasons, right? I mean, this is like if Steven Crowder had a really if his dad just had a one night with some beer goggle woman. That's what we're looking at here, right?
On his trans rights platform. And what we explicitly wanted to do was use the power of New York City to provide free gender-affirming care, and I say free in case insurance companies decide to boot us off. Free gender-affirming care.
Free gender-affirming care, not free insurance, because we're afraid the insurance companies will kick us off. So we're going to ensure that if the insurance companies won't cover it, the city of New York are going to cover it. Who are you giving your gender-affirming care to?
Not just to people in New York City, but across the country. When Zohran...
The entire country! If you think that you need some drugs, you need some surgeries, you need whatever you need, we're going to bring you on in here, and pay for it for you. How sick and twisted and I mean, just think about this. We are going to fly you in here. We know it's like, we know that when the Democrats come back in here, that border is wide open. So basically, New York City will become free trans care for the world. Why not? Free trans care for the world. Yeah. This is totally going to work out well.
First kind of approached DSA leadership about running. His pitch was, he said, I'm going to get socialists to vote for me and I'm going to get Muslims to vote for me. With Zohran,
which that's obviously a marriage made in hell, but it is a marriage of convenience.
We're in basically the best possible position to seize state power that we can be in because, you know, we're like this, right? DSA has regular meetings with him, let alone his team. His policy director is my friend. I've been working with his campaign manager for well over a year.
Oh, this is nice. Isn't this great? Isn't this great?
You know, I have friends who are in his staff. Trans rights, I always would say, you know, we are the tip of the spear. I've looked at Zohran's policies and I'm like,
when it comes to trans rights, it's true that today they may be the tip of the spear, but 15 minutes from now, they may decide that they're the end of the spear. And then they'll go back to being the tip. And then there'll be and then there'll be a grenade. They're not really on the spear at all. They're not. Trans rights is the tip of the spear. What tip of the spear are you? What tip of the spear?
Yep, these were floating around group chats and message boards for like 5 years before they ended up in here. Zohran himself was about to become the mayor.
So we are the cutting edge lunacy. We're not just other people around in the mill. They only became lunatics later on. We are cutting edge lunatics.
The largest city in the United States is facing the same attacks that undocumented immigrants just trying to get a job at Home Depot are facing right now. There's no reason at all that we can't use telehealth and mailing prescriptions to people across the country to undermine state bans.
Oh my God. We're going to help break state laws in states where they don't allow it by shipping them drugs. There's nothing stopping us.
The Zohran campaign was always eager to work with us. You know, we're like that. We wrote the platform with him. The team was so happy to. He's
so proud that he feels like he has political gravitas. Yeah, me and Zohran, we're, and maybe he is. Maybe he's talking out of it. Maybe he's talking out of whatever orifice he had carved into his body in the last 2 years. But this is, he's very proud of his relationship with Zohran.
To work with us on this. And now he's going to be mayor.
Zohran kicked Cuomo's ass. It was like almost a flawless victory. And so I think that'll also bear out when you switch into governing from like the campaign session.
New York City could provide trans health care for every trans person in the country who, you know, can't afford it. And it would be a blip on our radar. I'm sure there are people.
A total blip on our radar. We wouldn't even notice it. Oh, we wouldn't even notice it. Of course, that'd be like nothing. He's obviously an economic specialist. He's here to tell you that's going to be a blip. You don't even know it.
Who voted for Zohran who are transphobic, right? I'm sure there are people who voted for Zohran who, you know, don't have like the best opinions on other stuff. Muslims are now a voting bloc in New York City elections. That wasn't the case before. It was like non-educated whites, educated whites. I love election demographics. Latinos and Black voters. Now it's also Muslim voters.
People come through to DSA by way of Zohran. That's awesome. But then we can help them basically become more radicalized. So Zohran is his first step, and then all of a sudden you're doing all kinds of awesome organizing.
So there you go. Don't take my word for how radical they are. They basically tell you. They make no bones about it. You have no idea how much we're going to be able to radicalize. We are so excited about all of the radicalization that we are going to be doing, because there's going to be lots of it. I have to tell you, I thought this eye situation would be actually worse than it is. It's actually somewhat, I thought it was going to be a disaster. But yeah, that's them. Move to New York City, join the utopia. I think that's going to be my next video. That is going to be the next video I want to pull up for you. If the body parts don't define the gender, then how could the surgical addition or removal of them affirm the gender? They're not affirming the gender. Because no, well, I guess I don't know. I don't know, Piano Dean. I don't know. Did they snip the tip of the spear? If they did, they're certainly going to tell you all about it. They're very excited if there's snip tips. We hear all about how there's snip tips. Now, since we were just focusing on the socialism element, I think that Tim Pool did a good job breaking down Karl Marx in a little clip that he did that I wanted to share with y'all.
Trump has put his thumb on the scale, saying you got to vote for Cuomo, and if you're Jewish, you're stupid for voting for Mamdani, who is a communist. Hey, look at this. Zohran Mamdani. Hey, that's his account. And it says, each according to their need, each according to their ability. Oh, I can't with these people.
This is a pretty good rant he's about to do on Karl Marx. I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Guys, there are people who actually believe this. Karl Marx was as dumb as a box of rocks.
Yep.
He didn't understand people.
Nope.
He was retarded.
Yep.
I'm going to say it again. Karl Marx is a retard.
He was a retard.
He wrote a bunch of retarded garbage, and people believed it. Okay. I am going to simply break down for you why this statement is retarded and can never work. My response to this was, each according to their work. That's it. The work you do is what you get. So, my abilities. I have the ability to work 16-hour days. I have the ability to work longer than that. Sometimes I don't have to sleep. It's painful, but I have that ability within me. What are my needs? In order for me to maintain that level of work, I need adequate reward. But that's not what the phrase means. To the communists, they'll say, no, Tim, you need only adequate food. Your needs are what you need to remain healthy.
And what he's really getting at here is they're deciding what your need is. And they also ultimately decide what your ability is. So their need, who's defining their need? Their need is defined by the state, as opposed to you as an individual deciding what your needs are.
Is shelter and food. Thank you and have a nice day. What they are telling me in this phrase is that they would require of me my maximum output for my minimum return. Humans don't operate that way.
Right.
Each according to their need means you'll receive the bare minimum. Each according to the ability means you must perform to your maximum.
He's right.
People are going to lose their minds in these systems, and they have. Zohran is an idiot.
He is. I mean, everything about socialism is ridiculous. Everything that Marx offered was stupidity. But the one thing it has is it has appeal to a simpleton. It has appeal to someone who is lazy and feels like, oh, okay, I'll be taken care of and I won't have to be in prison, because they don't recognize the prison that socialism is. Someone goes to jail, they get their 3 squares, the room and a bed. They go to prison. They don't, and that's essentially what communism is. It's an open air prison. Just there's a reason why there was a Berlin Wall. It wasn't to keep folks out like we have on our wall. That's the difference between capitalism and socialism. That's the difference between communism, at least, and capitalism, which there's no such thing as real communism. It was the USSR, but not the USCR or the UCSR, or whatever. But yeah, there was no communism in there. It was the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, United Soviet Socialist Republic. So I guess it would have been USCR. But it wasn't that, as everyone knows. It was the USSR, and still they had to build walls. Here's the key distinction. Here's a good little tweet for you. The difference between capitalism and socialism is that capitalists have to build walls to keep people out. Socialists have to build walls to keep people in. It's that simple. Very, very aggravating. So once we're dealing with Tim Pool, I got one more clip from him. So let's share this last one that I have from Tim Pool.
So his constituencies were Muslims, South Asians.
This is talking about who's voting for Mamdani.
And then these 20 to 30 something overeducated, over-credentialed, downwardly mobile hipsters in Bushwick and Brooklyn who think they're the working class because they failed to get like amazing jobs and have student loan from getting,
And they think that makes them oppressed also.
Degree upon degree upon degree. They have enormous contempt for labor. And as a result, they want things from the government despite Tim being like the most privileged people on planet Earth. And Mamdani is their avatar. This is a guy who's like a total Nepo baby, never worked a day in his life, lives off his parents, but makes it seem cool, right? Like it's cool to like live off your parents, be a total failure if you can make great content for social. They don't actually want him to do any of this stuff. They would never dream of shopping in an Aldi. Forget about a free supermarket. These are people who spend $12 on a cold brew, okay, Tim?
I'm just gonna say this. Maybe I'm telling on myself. The first time I ever stumbled on an Aldi was this summer, and I went in there, and I loved that place. I was like, wow, this is like, but I also like Trader Joe's. So I don't know. Maybe I just like the little offbeat type of supermarket thing. But let's face it, when I really need food, I'm just gonna go to ShopRite. But yeah, Aldi's is cool. But it is, I could see how it's like the Kmart of supermarkets.
It's all one big virtue signal. They feel like the government should pay them to make their shitty podcasts. And this is just a protest vote for them.
Yeah, well, see how this works out for you. We'll see how this works out for you, because it's not boding well. In fact, speaking of, we'll see how this works out for you. Here's one guy who has thoughts about what New York is headed for.
People don't understand what it's like to elect a Muslim socialist until they elect a Muslim socialist. You could ask our friends in London. How many years has Sadiq Khan been mayor there? How's that going?
What do you think will happen in New York City if Zohran does win?
You know, there'll be a few immediate things. One, if you're Jewish or Christian, you're going to feel extremely unsafe. You're going to be looking at a lot of the sort of Muslim street and Antifa style element behaving like complete animals because they no longer have any limitations. The police are on their side, right? Second,
and there's no such thing as a misdemeanor soon. He wants to abolish misdemeanors, which means they can even like slap you around a little bit. That's just a misdemeanor, and that's not really a big thing.
First of all, you're going to see tremendous crime. Those same liberal white girls that are probably going to be why Mamdani wins, if he does, are going to be the first on the chopping block. And it's going to be awfully satisfying, grimly so, when they're the ones getting sexually harassed in the subway, because guess what? They're the first in line, because there's no one protecting them, and they're gonna wonder about their vote at that point. But of course, by then,
Why do you say awfully satisfying?
Huh?
Why do you say awfully satisfying?
Because it's there is something deeply satisfying about someone facing the unintended consequences of their actions,
of their stupidity, of their bold stupidity.
I don't find it satisfying because I like it. It's horrendous. But the fact that they actively voted for this while claiming people like myself and yourself are racist, are fascist, are Nazis. Let's see if they think that way still when they're getting sexually assaulted by some guy who should either be in prison or mental asylum.
Yep. Yeah. That's a great bastardization of a famous line from Two Towers. Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. Looks like grapes back on the menu, boys. Yeah. And here's a group of Muslims who are coming to warn y'all about what Mamdani's bringing you. These are the Muslims against Mamdani, who I don't think they left the Middle East to have the Middle East follow them.
We are Muslims against Mamdani. Ask us why.
Why are you against Mamdani?
First of all, do you know that Mamdani is supporting decriminalization of prostitution?
No. We don't want that.
No, we don't want that. Which is an NYC law that prostitution is not allowed.
Yeah.
And we are against it because every single religion of the world against prostitution creates morality issues. It brings a lot of disease. Do you want that?
No.
No.
That shouldn't be happening at all.
When there is prostitution, there is a human trafficking.
I had no idea.
When there's a human trafficking, there's a drug trafficking. Can you imagine what he's doing?
Honestly, I don't agree with it. What made you want to do this type of thing?
Because he's Muslim and we are Muslim and we are saying you're doing a wrong thing. It's against the law, it's against the faith. And he's defunding the police.
That's what I heard, yeah.
So you're from New York, right?
Yeah.
As you know how much crime is going on.
Yeah.
Imagine if you have less police, do you feel safe at that time?
I don't think so.
Police working very bravely, very tirelessly for our community to keep us safe. No need to give the salary to police. Why? There will be no jail. There will be no police.
The goal must be to abolish this exploitative system entirely. Yeah. That was all 4 years ago. 3.5 years ago. Nice.
You just imagine.
I actually love your point because I didn't know that.
You can't give somebody like that power.
Zach, you guys are Muslims too, and you guys don't support him.
He's not Muslim.
Right.
He does not. He's self-proclaimed Hindu.
Whenever he goes to a mosque, he says, I'm a Muslim. Whenever he goes to a mandir, Hindu mandir, he says, my mother was Hindu. He is misleading people. Just want to get the vote.
He lies about everything, basically.
Yes. It's all that propaganda, you see what I'm saying? They want to get the people riled up. He's an American who hides behind the concept of a religion.
Yeah, correct. He's using it, everything.
He is the wrong person to be a mayor for this great city.
He can say anything, but actuality will not be able to establish fair policy.
If you're against Mamdani, then who are you with?
I am voting for Como.
Como is our right mayor.
I think we're all on the same page.
You guys being out here is really cool because I got to learn from people that are older, people that have more wisdom. So it's like I really respect and I really honor what you're doing.
It was great meeting you guys.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. What do you think? That Mamdani should be the mayor?
I don't think so.
I'm not his fan.
Should they vote Mamdani or Como?
Como.
Como. Come on board.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, their prophetic words were not heeded. Their warnings were not heeded. And Mamdani has been declared the winner of the mayoral race in New York City. In case you joined late, he has been declared the winner. If you're wondering whose fault it is, it's because of another name you heard repeated many times in that video, and that is, of course, Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo is to blame for Mamdani being the mayor-elect of New York. If that guy doesn't join the race, there's a chance. At least there's a chance that Sliwa has. But when he comes into the race, all of a sudden now he's splitting. because there was a rise of an anti-Mamdani vote, but he had to come in there as the independent, even though he's already thrown out on his keister because of his ineptitude that he showed in his COVID coverage, where he killed tens of thousands of elderly with his foreseeably disastrous policies. And also because the dude has an uncontrollable, insatiable need to basically objectify women. So sadly, the latter was considered the primary reason for his ouster from the governorship. In case you're not familiar with New York political history, the reason he was removed, not because of what he did during COVID, quite the contrary. The tarted Democrats hailed him as a leader during COVID and basically ignored the fact that New York City had horrific numbers because of him, when all he did basically was he would go out and hold press conferences every single day, and he would pretty much repeat everything Trump had said 3 hours earlier, and they would say what Trump said is and the media reported it as Trump is terrible, Cuomo is the leader we need right now. The one thing that he did different from Trump, that was what made his policy so disastrous, is he forced hospitals to release any COVID contagious elderly back to their nursing homes instead of their original nursing homes, and basically reinfect the most susceptible to mortality to COVID. And it raged through these different nursing homes. He could have put them on the cruise ship that New York, that President Trump put in the harbor, but politically that wouldn't have looked good because Trump sent it. He could have designated certain facilities as being COVID facilities. That patients who have COVID, you got to go here. Patients who don't, you can, or have cleared up their COVID, can, stay elsewhere. That would have been something that was just common sense. Anyone who has basic understanding as to how disease spreads would have said that's the smart way to go. But no, he did not do that. Instead, tens of thousands of elderly died in the state of New York. And that is not why the Democrats removed him. Quite the contrary. Like I said, they applauded him and his brave and strong leadership that he displayed during COVID. And then when they heard all these different reports about the fact that he was basically talking like an animal to various women in his entourage, whether they were reporters, and he would make jokes at reporters about them, eating his meatball sandwich or whatever sick things that came up, or different female cops who were attractive female cops who he had personally designated to work his detail, and basically treating his position like an animal, not trying to defend the way he acted and the way he objectified women, or took advantage of his position to objectify women in a way that was gross and disturbing, and not nearly as terrible as killing tens of thousands of people. But the left doesn't have any, but whatever priorities the left has, they're inverted from what actual morality says. So that's when they stood up for women. That's when it's wrong for women to feel like threatened and vulnerable. If only he was trans, he would have gotten away with it all. If only he was trans. And yeah, New York City is going to turn into a cesspool. He's not going to be deported. He's not going to be deported. And I called out this effort as being an effort which is, it's not pink eye. It's a scratch cornea. He's not going to be deported, and I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good policy. The reason I don't think it's good policy is because you're not going to get any judge to sign off on, yes, I'm deporting the mayor of New York City. You won't. You're not going to get any judge in New York, even an administrative judge. You're not going to get any judge in New York to say, I'm deporting the elected mayor of New York City. It's not happening. I don't care what the hell he put in his application or whatever. That, he would have been mayor of New York City, but since he filled out this form wrong, we're deporting him. Yeah, you're not getting a single judge in the world to do that. It's not happening. So, and you just look like sore losers, and you're going to be embarrassed if you try bringing such a case and it loses. And you're going to say, hey, they're not following the law because they're all a bunch of leftists, and that's what people are going to scream. But the reality is, politically, no one would do that. I don't think Clarence Thomas would do it. You're going to say I'm ignoring the will of how many votes this guy got? How many votes are we talking about here? Let me pull this up here. Oh yeah, that's what they're going to say. I'm going to ignore the vote of 1 million New Yorkers. That's what they're going to. That's going to happen real fast. Real fast. So that's why I said that those efforts are foolish. And when the reason I say it's foolish is because if you're taking steps that you know cannot possibly succeed and can make you look bad, why do that? It's like making an empty threat. It's like a parent who says, if you guys don't shut up and eat, I'm never going to cook dinner for you again. You're just like you're weakening your power. You're not strengthening it. So, yeah, you're not going. That's not going to work. That's not going to fly. I do need to take a moment to sort of. Sort of deal. That's rough. But the good news is it's only 4 years. 4 years goes like that. So maybe these 4 years will go like that. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they will. Yeah, that was forgotten. That was never forgotten. That was forgotten. It's not pink eye. It's not pink eye. It's a scratched cornea. Gosh, you guys are so mean. I fight through it. I fight through it to come to you guys, to talk to you guys, to deal with you guys, just to be here for our election night. I almost opened with the show with this tonight, because I thought this was funny. This is the left seeing their own tactics thrown in their face. I thought this was hilarious. I mean, we could use a good laugh now. When they don't like to taste their own medicine, this is in Duke University.
No, you can't touch. Fuck Palestine. It's freedom of speech, lady. Freedom of speech, lady. Freedom of speech. If you don't like it, okay, but this is a free country. Yes, I'm a professor here. Thank you. Oh, you don't think I could be a professor here? Why? Because I'm black? Get your racist ass out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You're being anti-Semitic right now. Fuck Palestine. It's a free country. I can say what the fuck I want, and you can't do nothing about it. Go back to Palestine if you don't like it. Fuck Palestine. I'm Israelite. Fuck Palestine. I'm Israelite. Fuck.
It's actually I'm Yisrael Chai, but he can't say that. So he's like, so it sounds like he's saying I'm Yisrael Chai is Hebrew, which means the nation of Israel, I mean Jews, lives. But he says I'm Israelite. I'm Israelite.
Palestine. Yeah.
Do you have any student ID?
Do you support Israel?
All right, here comes Karen. Here comes Karen.
Are you going to answer my question? You can call whoever you want to. I moonwalk on it. I moonwalk on the Palestinian flag.
I moonwalk. Yeah. They never should have given you. They never should have given you Bingers money. F your couch. F your couch. They never should have given you Bingers money. I moonwalk on it. Hey man, I'm gonna moonwalk on it.
You can call whoever you want to. I moonwalk on it. I moonwalk on the Palestinian flag. No, you can't. What are you doing? What are you doing? No, you. No.
Oh
you
my
can't
God. That guy is funny. He's funny. I don't even know if he supports Israel. I just think that he's funny. That was hilarious. I was like, that was really good. You know, the other day, I think it was Dick Parker shared with me a video that I didn't get to watch.
Ladies and gentlemen,
featuring a guy named Tal Oran. I think it was Dick Parker who gave me this video. If I'm wrong, well, crediting Dick Parker anyway, and you can take credit for it by sending me a $20 super chat and correcting me. So, yeah. Once we're on this whole Israel-Palestine thing, I want to share something with you. I need to be careful how I share this because I can't show violence on YouTube. This video is flagged as being, sharing violence, and I'm a little scared about what he shows here, because some of this video basically, I'm going to show it with no volume when he gets to that. So when he's sharing that part of the video where there's basically violence, I'm gonna put music in over it.
it is your favorite meme master to all the traveling clat. This land was promised to me 3,000 years ago, and it can be promised to you 3,000 years ago if you get the merch down below the description of travelclat.com. I am your favorite white colonizing Zionizer, and it is time.
Your favorite white colonizing Zionizer. Oh my God. This is what you need. This is when you have a rough election night. This is what we need. See, I could be sitting here screaming, no. I could be sitting here crying, which I'm not. But instead, I want to share with you what this is pretty funny. And I think it's pretty, considering what everyone's warning about what's going to happen to New York City, I think it's pretty apropos because this is London.
For the meme show, the Pro Pally meme show.
Sorry, Manchester.
Let's get right into the memes. It's like PewDiePie's show, but more political. Let's take a look.
Okay, so I gotta be careful here. Like I said, we're gonna watch it like 1.5 speed with the volume off. And oh, didn't mean to do that. Ah. I'm gonna do this in 1.5 speed. Assuming I can figure out how to get this to 1.5 speed. And why is this not going to 1.5 speed? Hello? Oh, because I'm clicking the wrong thing. I need to be clicking. Why is this not? See.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is your.
Now I need to get this to 1.5 speed. Playback speed, and you sort of need to see a little bit as to like what's happening here. So we'll move them up to 34 to 40 seconds here. And what you're basically going to be watching is him watching a bunch of trans folk getting the snot beaten out of them. Should we turn this volume down? Yeah, we're going to turn this volume down. We'll give you some of our own music. Uh-oh! They're coming! They're coming! They're coming! Not good. Not good. Those are Muslims who are chasing the trans. You know why? Because Muslim folk don't really like trans. They're not big fans of the trans. So those socialists of America who are also excited about, the significant Muslim bloc, they think, oh, yeah, no, this is great. This is great. Things are going to go great here. Great. Yeah. Welcome to Manchester. You can't hear him either. I can't hear.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that's what you thought. We've got another clip from the same event.
Oh, this is what I really wanted. He's like, you thought they were, what he basically said that we missed was him saying, oh, you thought they were just going to be done and with the Jews and that was it? Oh, you thought it was just going to be the Jews? You thought it was just going to be the Jews the Muslims were coming after and that was the end of it? Then they were done? Oh, okay. All right. That was a plan? That was a plan? See how that's working out for you. Make sure that we're going, we're 1.5 speed? Yeah. Oh. Oh. I think we saw this part. All right. It does change the whole mood and atmosphere, right? When it's like a different speed with different music, changes the whole mood and atmosphere. Anyway, so I get a little bit more from Tal here because I do think he's actually somewhat entertaining. He makes me chuckle.
They'll never come for us, Christians. It's just the Jews. Let's just throw the Jews under the bus. Let's throw the Jews under the bus, and all shall be okay. But oh no, no, no. It's not that simpleton, my friend. Not. It doesn't end with the Jew, my friend. It does never end with the Jew. Because once they're done with the Jew, they, my friends, they are coming right for you. That's who they're coming for. If you think you're safe by throwing the Jews under the bus, guess what, my friend? Straight for you. You're next. Let's get in the next meme. We've got Sebastian.
Anyway, so that's what he's saying there. That's what he's saying there. And I want to say this back to you, Tal. I want to say this back to you, Tal. Okay. I want to just make, when I saw that video, there was something that just sort of struck me. It struck me when I saw him saying that. And it was almost the opposite point of what he was saying. Almost the opposite point. What struck me when I heard him saying, oh, yeah, you think you're so safe, going to come for them. You know what the opposite of that is? The opposite of that is when you think that you're being so nice to people and then they're going to be nice to you. So you're like, oh, if we cozy up, if we buddy up with this group or that group, in that case, people are going to like me. This is the coward's way of actually trying to survive the world. That it's like the Peter Pettigrew, I'm going to cozy up to the people who I deem to have some sort of power and influence, whether that's, the Marauders or Voldemort in Harry Potter. Yeah, Harry Potter works on a lot of levels. Or it's the trans groups today cozying up with the Muslim bloc to try and say, let's get Mamdani in there. We're going to cozy up to them. Yeah, okay, it works to get Mamdani into power. Then what? You think Mamdani's trans? You think that Mamdani is ultimately going to be, when the split comes between Muslim fanatical Muslims and trans, he's going to be on your side? That's what you think? That's what you think? But this goes back a little bit further, because this is not just a critique. This is not just simply a critique of political blocs like that we see here. Because I'm going to tell you something. One of the things that I'm critical about the state of Israel, one of the things I'm most critical about the state of Israel, is that they jumped out front and center, first in line, 20 years ago, to basically say that they are friends of that they are going to support everything possible to promote and explore and expand and create pride as you know it today. They were at the forefront of having pride parades and all this other stuff. Why? Because they deemed them to have, I assume, that someone thought, oh, this is a good idea. It'll get us more popular with this powerful contingency. It'll get us more popular with Western culture. Which pride, frankly, is an anathema under Torah. It's an anathema under Christianity. It's an anathema under Islam, under every religious precept. Just the word pride itself, the word pride represents one of the most awful, evil, terrible human character traits. And that is what they are embracing for good reason. It's not accidental that they chose the word pride. And they basically promoting that. So what I would say is, yeah, you could sit there and you could say, oh, you're making a terrible mistake trying to make friends with them. But the state of Israel made friends with pride. And back then, when I saw that they were doing that, I was revolted by that. I was sickened by it. Frankly, as a Jew, I was sickened to see the state of Israel embracing it. And why do I bring it up now in this context? Because let's fast forward to 2020, to October 3rd, 2020, October 7th, 2023. And who's the first groups? Who's the first people to join in and fight and basically scream, oh, free Palestine, free Palestine? It's all the same crazy leftists. All the ones you're cozying up to 20 years ago are like, oh, we're going to become great friends with the West. Oh, they're all going to like us and respect us because we're going to be the only democracy and we're the only ones supporting pride. Look at all our Muslim neighbors. All our Muslim neighbors over here. Oh, none of them are doing it, but we're standing forward here. We're coming forward. They're all throwing gays off of roofs, and we're the ones who are making parades for gays. So that way now we're going to have all these strong, powerful, influential friends who are all going to stand by our side when we have, God forbid, if the chips are ever down, and we need friends who are from outside of Israel who are going to come to our aid and rally for our support. Oh, we got this in the bank now. We got this in the bank. The very first group of non-Muslims who turned on Israel was not specifically pride, but the crazy leftists. They're the ones who are going out and with their college campus rallies and their shutdowns there and the lockdowns and screaming free Palestine and stop the genocide. And there's lies about a famine, which never happened. UNICEF recently confirmed there was never any famine in Gaza, but that was taken as gospel, like, oh, this is Torah, this is complete truth here. Everyone knows that Israel is starving these poor little Palestinian kids. Never happened, not for 30 seconds. Everyone there got food. Sorry, not everyone. Everyone who wasn't being held captive by those monsters Hamas, they got food. Yeah, the people held prisoner there for 500 days and more, they weren't getting much food, but everyone else had plenty of food in Gaza. So, but screaming about the famine and the bombings and all that Israel is genocide and all these other lies, who was at the forefront of that? The very same leftists who you bent over backwards. You basically snapped your vertebrae in half. Basically, oh, I got to bend over as far back as possible, way in front of the United States of America, way in front of all the other countries. The first one to embrace, oh, let's go along with this because we need friends. We need to have friends. They're your friends. Those are the friends you chose. You want to sit there and think you're outsmarting God. That's basically what the state of Israel leadership did. Oh, we're going to outsmart God because even though we know God kind of really doesn't like this kind of promotion, this kind of endorsement. Someone wants to do something in a private thing, that's not for the state to intercede. It's not. I would not say it's definitely not for the United States of America, and nor is it for the state of Israel to intercede. Someone wants doing their own private thing. So no one should misunderstand what I'm saying here, that I think that the state of Israel should be condemning or outlawing anything of that nature, anything related to pride. Because I'm not saying they should have done that. Well, maybe with respect to the trans thing, but that's because you're protecting children from basically being monstrosized and Frankenstein by these lunatics. But when it comes to the consenting adult elements of pride, I basically would say, all right, no state should basically, let states stay out of it for the most part. That's certainly apply in the United States of America. That should apply in in the state of Israel. But what did they do? No, no, no. We have to be the first ones out here. Have these big, massive parades and all this other nonsense and hullabaloo about how we have to just make a big affront, a big stink right here, marching a few miles away from, well, a few dozen miles. I guess it was probably in Tel Aviv from, as opposed to Jerusalem, but basically the holiest sites in the world. And this is where we're going to have these big, massive pride parades. And then you wonder, oh, what a big surprise that they're the first ones who turn on you. You're not going to outsmart God. And that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like they were trying to do. Like, oh, okay, we're going to have friends. You're not their friends. No matter how much you try boning up to them. Are you rubbing elbows? Or look how nice we've been. We've been so nice. Yeah, the first one spitting in your face and basically saying, let's destroy that state. So, yeah. Hopefully the state of Israel learned their lesson. And it's going to be a sad day indeed when these trans lefty lunatics learn their lesson, because they will learn their lesson. But that's essentially that. When I saw this Tal Oren, who I like, I mean, that frankly, what you just saw me watch of him is all I never heard of him beforehand, but from what I saw, I happen to like him. I'm not critiquing him because he's right to point out that what he pointed out was actually an intelligent point, and I agree with him. So that's pretty much all I've ever seen of the guy. There's a channel with like 674,000 subs. Seems like a good guy. Seems like he's got some charisma. He's got, or as the kids say today, Riz. There you go. But yeah, yeah. The bottom line is, you think that if you're going to try and throw some candies at someone who is not a natural ally of yours, that this is going to be something that's going to protect you down the road, you're a fool and you're a coward. It's cowardice. If they had been far more based and said, no, this isn't happening here. No. Trust me, they would be in far better straits today. I have absolutely no doubt about it for even a half a second. They would be in far better straits today. Anyway, so when I saw that clip there, I hope YouTube doesn't ding me for sharing violence with y'all. I wasn't glorifying the violence, but yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is. Where are you guys? I'm trying to find. Hands One Pack says, still can't believe the Jews who control the media lost the propaganda war. Dude. It was self-sabotage half the time. A lot of Jews, like Bernie Sanders, they don't like Israel. They don't have any affinity for Israel. So, yeah, it's not, you can ask questions about their strategy, but like, yeah. I'm looking for, someone else says, I'm looking for a Times Square going back to Women of the Night and strip clubs. We can modernize it with sex robots and AI virtual reality strip clubs sponsored by OnlyFans. And then they'll go out and get beaten the hell out by Muslim gangs there. It's going to be such chaos. It's going to be craziness. It's going to be such craziness. Yeah, I'll take care of you. Let me do that. Let me set that up. Give me a moment. The tricky thing is finding you. That's the tricky thing. Every time I'm searching for Jim Tells You, the first thing that YouTube gives me is Jim tells Pam that he loves her. And I'm like, That's not what
He
I
must
want.
be extended. Emergency lawsuit.
That's not what I want. I don't need Jim telling Pam that he loves her. But that is what I get. It's pretty funny. All right. All right, that's one thing done, taken care of. What else do I want to talk to you guys about? There was a couple of things I wanted to cover. Oh, yeah. Apparently Dick Cheney is dead. So, there you go. I got nothing more on that. I got nothing more than that. But, I mean, I can share with you. I'll share with you a clip just so you know I'm not making it up. But former Vice President Dick Cheney, father of Liz Cheney, is dead.
Senator Ted Cruz joins us now. Senator, I know you worked on that campaign. You watched that bond come together with the governor of Texas and the former Secretary of Defense. What did you see?
Well, Dick Cheney was an extraordinary public servant. You're right.
No.
President George W. Bush relied on Dick Cheney.
He was not an extraordinary. He was a selfish neocon. He was. Who then was angry that Trump basically turned the system on its head and had a crazy daughter who went out there and tried to kibosh him. So, no, he was not a good person.
For virtually every...
Nor was he a public servant. It was self-interest. We all remember Halliburton. We all remember how he basically made his friends wealthy. So, and then the whole WMDs, which a lot of people speculate was to help Dick Cheney's friends get wealthy.
He trusted him deeply. And I got to say, Dick Cheney was someone who, at 34 years old, he was chief of staff to President Gerald Ford. He became Secretary of Defense under President Bush.
These are all resume things, Ted. That doesn't mean he did good things in those positions. These are all resume. Doesn't mean he wasn't a very selfish individual. I think the label public servant is probably humiliating to him when he's answering questions God has for him.
41, and then, of course, vice president under Bush 43. He was a man who was serious. He was a man who was dedicated to keeping this country safe.
Yeah, he's dedicated to keeping it safe so long as we stockpile so many weapons.
And he was vice president when 9/11 happened, and the seriousness with which he took that America would defeat radical Islamic terrorists was extraordinary.
Yeah, he was willing to help perpetuate the lies that there were WMDs and we had to go into Iraq.
He was up early every morning, 4 or 5 a.m. every morning, and working diligently to keep Americans safe. There are Americans who are alive today because of just how vigorously he pursued our enemies. And my condolences, my prayers are with the entire Cheney family.
I think his soul needs a lot more prayers than I'm willing to offer up for them. Cheney was another LBJ, enriched himself all for. Yep, he did. Cheney voted for Harris. Yep, he was a traitor. He was. And I understand the notion of, like, Republicans standing together and stuff like that. No. I don't want to see Trump making fun of him being dead. Don't want to see that. But even though he was very obviously someone who had TDS, but to laud him as if he was some public servant, I don't think so.
Who are losing their patriarch and losing a public servant who made a real difference.
Yeah, he made a real difference for them, for the Cheney family, no doubt about that. But That's yeah, that's really all I got for you. That's really all I got for you on that. What else do I want to talk to you about? No, yeah. Remember that sicko Jones who won the AG position in Virginia? Supposedly this is him kicking a dog right after he votes. They can't help but be sick.
And then he wake up tonight when you get this sweet. Say bye-bye. See you soon.
What the heck is that? What the heck is that? He's not a normal human being. He's not normal. Yeah. That's not very sensible. But all this talk, by the way, there's a lot of talk from Trump about the California redistricting vote and how it's under criminal review. This too, I don't think is going to get very far. I'd be surprised if it gets very far. Certain things I think have a chance. Certain things have a chance, but what Trump shared out in a Truth Social tweet was the unconstitutional redistricting vote in California is a giant scam, and that the entire process, in particular the voting itself, is rigged. All mail-in ballots, where the Republicans in the state are shut out, is under very serious legal and criminal review. Stay tuned. You're not going to find anything here. I don't think he's going to find anything. I understand he's frustrated and he's annoyed by it, but the reality is I don't think that this one's going to work. So I'm just being real with you. In case you saw that. He did make the point that Jewish voters who back Mamdani are stupid, which he's correct about that. Of course, considering the fact that of who he's talking to here, I don't think that this probably helped Cuomo a single vote. But Trump drops election day bomb. Any Jewish person that votes for Zohran Mamdani is a stupid person. Any Jewish person who votes for Zohran Mamdani, a proven and self-professed Jew hater, is a stupid person, declared the president, who all but endorsed former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's independent campaign for Gracie Mansion. Mamdani's attitudes towards Jewish people have been the subject of much scrutiny given his reticence to criticize Hamas, questionable statements about the October 7th terror attack on the Israeli civilians, the ominous connections he's drawn between the NYPD and IDF, and his promise to arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu should he visit the Big Apple. As for Trump, this isn't the first time he's criticized Jewish voters in no uncertain terms. In addition to, by the way, the reason that's significant is obviously because the UN is in New York City currently. So he's basically saying, don't come to the UN or you're going to be arrested. As for Trump, this isn't the first time he's criticized Jewish voters in no uncertain terms. In addition to referring to Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer as a Palestinian, which was funny, Trump has argued that any Jewish person who votes for Democrat or votes for Biden should have their head examined. He's right about that too. Unfortunately, there's still way too many Jews who rather be stupid than listen to anything that Trump says. But I've talked a lot about why it is that Jews are Democrats. So I don't think that I don't like repeating myself and boring and risking boring people. That makes me feel, I always get concerned that maybe I'm going to be saying stuff I'm going to be saying stuff that I'm going to feel like I'm just repeating things I've said. This is why I never retweet myself. And apparently that's very bad form if you want to actually grow. I'm supposed to be retweeting myself a lot. What else do I want to cover for you? Not really that. Oh. This is a video of Cuomo supposedly apologizing for killing all those people in nursing homes. 4 years too late. This was his final push. Such a terrible man.
Worst. Nobody knew what we were dealing with.
Everyone knew.
I had the best health experts from around the globe giving us advice.
Yeah, well, simple advice would have been something a child would have realized, which is you keep the infected people away from the uninfected people. It's really that simple. But you forced them together.
We followed the best advice.
No, you didn't. You didn't think for even a second. You ignored a freaking cruise ship that Trump sent to you and didn't put a single patient in there. Instead, you sent them back to nursing homes.
We followed the federal guidance.
You followed federal guidelines, which were basically open enough for you to interpret in a way that you weren't violating the law, but you basically didn't think for 2 seconds about the ramifications of your policies. Every other governor was making sure to keep infected people away. There was 5 governors, all of whom were Democrats, 5 governors who decided we're going to shove the general policy is the general policy is like, as far as, you know, where you keep a patient is that you're going to try and keep them in a hospital where they can be cared for rather than in a nursing home, adult care facility. They flipped that on its head. Specifically, these 5 governors: Andrew Cuomo, Democrat from New York; Phil Murphy, Democrat from New Jersey; Tom Wolf, Democrat from Pennsylvania; Gretchen Whitmer, Democrat from Minnesota; Gavin Newsom, Democrat from California. The only 5. Stupid. It's like, we couldn't know. Of course you could have known. You don't need to know how it's killing to know that, hey, that it's going to spread if you put a healthy person next to an unhealthy person. You knew to keep people away for 6 feet away and all the masks and all the circles you're drawing on the park lawns. You knew that, but you're putting elderly people who are completely healthy next to elderly people who still have COVID.
And people died in a horrific way.
Thanks to you.
There were no visitors allowed into nursing homes.
I even forgot about that. Yeah, that's right. Then you alienated people away. They couldn't even say goodbye to their grandmothers before they died. Because you're like, no, we have to put a plastic wall between you. Monster.
And I apologize for any family that lost a loved one during that time.
Please vote for me. Idiot.
It was on my watch.
Yeah, the only reason he's apologizing is because he wants their vote, and it still didn't work. Instead, all he did was kibosh any chance Curtis Lewa had.
And I understand how terrible it was.
Yeah,
No, you don't. No, you don't. You're only saying words that you think are going to help you get voted, that you were hoping, praying would help you make up the deficit you had to Mamdani. Complete slimy, stinking politician.
We really were first and worst. I remember calling my family down in South Carolina saying, Mom and Dad, do not go to that party. You don't understand what's happening here. Y'all need to stay away from your friends right now and stay at home. People are losing their loved ones. My doormen, many of them lost like their dad, their mom. It was really sad. Janice Dean lost both of her in-laws because of the nursing home situation. It was a really hard time for New York, and we were the first.
Yeah. Because the nursing home situation that he created.
What do you say to the people who can't afford to pay their bills here in New York, Governor? Because we know how Mamdani feels about the billionaires, about our police officers, about the Jewish community. Many of them are voting for you because of what he said about Israel. But what do you say when people are going to go vote for him today because free grocery stores, free buses, rent stabilized, corporate...
You're not going to want to take those free buses when there are roving gangs all over them and homeless people everywhere and illegal aliens. You're not going to want to be taking any of this public transportation. It sounds really nice when it's free, but it's basically the same. You know what else is free? You know what else is free? Porta potties. Using a porta potty is also free. How many people want to use that? No one wants to use that. It's free. You just go into the porta potty. It's going to basically turn it into a moving porta potty, a rolling porta potty for crazy people.
Taxes.
That's what New York City is going to become. Cops will be quitting in droves. MTA workers will be quitting in droves. You think they're going to want to be like in the chaos that's happening? It's going to be a nightmare. Oh, and taxes are going to skyrocket, obviously. It will be an interesting. It'll be an interesting experiment to watch. That's for sure. I gotta tell my in-laws and my dad to move. All right. Was there anything else I was going to cover? I think that's good. I think that's good. I missed a few chats here. I should watch the Fat Electrician story about Aldi. I will watch any Fat Electrician story. The commies have taken over New York. Yes. Boy, I missed those two. I'm sorry, Dick Parker. I apologize. Those were sent a long time ago, and somehow I missed them. Lost my city and friends tonight just because I said it on Facebook. Zoe is not a socialist like Bernie was. Is communism the future? Is communism the future? Communism is a persistent evil which we will be battling until the end of days. It'll have times that it rises, and it'll have times that it falls. Communism, the notion of communism will never, or what they call socialism, or try to rebrand it as democratic socialism, or rebrand it this way or that way. We will forever, your children will be dealing with this, your grandchildren will be dealing with this. Until we hit the Messianic era, society will be fighting over socialism/communism. Why is that? Because it is the debate between the heart and the mind. If you cannot understand the notion that a simpleton would have that, or if you can't understand, forget about simpleton. If you don't have the humanity to recognize that there are so many people out there who are struggling, genuinely struggling, despite their efforts, despite their best efforts, and struggling with poverty, crime, illness, struggling with housing, food, education, really, really struggling. Some of them very noble people, busting their tails trying to raise their kids, working 2-3 jobs, double income, trying to make ends meet, and sometimes making it, sometimes, falling way behind, and living in such close proximity to others who have not millions, but billions of dollars, more money than they could ever possibly spend. And the notion that, hey, shouldn't there be a system where we actually ensure that our fellow man is provided for? And would it really harm them? You don't understand that to some folks, particularly ones who are lacking in any sort of moral clarity, that sounds like a noble thing to do. It sounds like a noble cause. When you recognize that to be able to take your own selfish interest, if you're one of the underclass, and wrap it, cloak it in this nobility, and say, oh, we're looking out for the working man, we're looking out for the underprivileged, for the oppressed, when really your motivation is your own self-interest, that you're like, hey, I want to become the talking head in this group. I want to have a position of power here in this agency. who's trying to affect this progressive change or whatever they'll relabel it 20 years from now. If you can't understand that this is something that when you're a little kid and you hear it spelled out like that, it's a very attractive thing. It's a very attractive thing where you're like, why are we going to leave one person with all this money that they can never even spend, and other people are dying in the streets and having miserable lives? You can just balance that out. That's what socialism aims to do. That is a concept which was bred by Marx, which we will be fighting over until the end of days. Because if you have more foolish people who don't understand just how self-destructive socialism and communism in particular is, they don't understand. They'll try and find examples like, well, it works for 10 minutes over here, and what about this healthcare system they have over for universal care over there, or this question. There's always new people coming along who haven't heard the explanations and or learned enough history to understand, or enough psychology to understand just how fatal and destructive that if you think about it with a brain for 20 minutes and you're really being objective, you recognize that no, the fluidity of the system that looks like it would work is going to be completely upset, and the whole apple cart gets upset, and no one ends up having any happiness in the system you're designing here. It's complex. It's much easier to say, well, let's share, and that way everyone's happy. Well, force people to share. That way everyone's happy. That's the simple way of approaching it. And the masses tend not to want to think about that. And then you have the selfish amongst the masses who are looking for their own power or their own way out, or using it as leverage because they themselves are relatively poor. So that is why this is a battle that will always persist. And sometimes when there's enough misery in the populace, it's more likely for socialism to rise up as an alternative to fix all the problems we have. No one can afford a house. No one can, the prices of food are skyrocketing. The more problems there are in society, the more attractive to a simpleton socialism, communism becomes. And society, as far as we know, is likely to have many periods of up and down, up and down, up and down. So when society is down, that's an opportunity for socialism to, when there's struggles, that's an opportunity for socialism to come along and say, hey, we're the answer. And then it really crashes. Then it doesn't, the down just becomes disastrous. Maybe not initially, maybe there's a little slight bump for a few minutes. When I say a few minutes, I'm talking the scale of time. You know, it could be like for 5 years, 10 years. So there's a little slight bump, and then it comes crashing down. And everyone's completely miserable, much more miserable than they were before they introduced socialism. And then socialism gets, is tossed out, and they're like, okay, phew, now we can start breathing and actually growing as a productive society again. So this up and down nature of socialism versus capitalism is something that we will be seeing for as long as there are humans, until Messiah comes and points out, hey, that's that whole thing. That was like Satan's work coming up with that. Sorry, my cornea-stricken eye is tearing on me. I can't believe Mamdani won. So I wouldn't say it's the future because 10 minutes after it gets introduced, and not 10 minutes, obviously, but shortly after it gets introduced, people start seeing how much it sucks. And they're like, this isn't good. And then it gets overthrown. Question is how? Does it get voted out? Does it get elected out? But dang, an hour behind hoping for your Tylenol eye patch. We're not going to get the eye patch. The squirrels have now shared their tracksuits with the possums in this, the best place for the Kool-Aid, not a cold. God bless you, Iowa backyard. I love the squirrel fans. Shia. Should have come to IceMed, would have fixed your eye. I actually called you. Well, texted you. DM'd you about this situation. Yeah. IceMed, he owns or controls. I'm not sure if he's the owner or controller, but he's a friend of mine who has this urgent care center. And I was like, you still have that urgent care center? No response. No response. So I ended up going to a different one. I tried reaching out to my optometrist, and then when I was in the other urgent care center, actually, the optometrist called. So it's good I was there because it was a block away from the optometrist. Yes, me, you're not listening tonight, though. I'm doing my best. The end of Gays for Palestine, this gets around. Yeah. Yeah. Like a puppy submissively showing its belly. That's what it is when people are trying. Kimmy sent this when I was talking about how people are so desperate to get others to please like me, please like me. Here's my belly, rub my belly. Even if they hate you. DN 15-second clip Mamdani headquarters hacked with Trump meme. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got for me. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Cheney was not LBJ enriched himself off of war. That's true. Cheney voted for Harris. Yeah, I missed a lot of super chats, but I came back around. Time to laugh. It's real. Watch crowd. Thumbs down. Yeah, that was funny. With Linda Sarsour holding Mamdani's feet to the fire, I'm worried that New York City will fall to Sharia law. I don't think so. Not right away. Not during his first term. I should say not during the first 3 years of his first term. We'll see. That which you fight, you become. New York Tower came down, and they fight against the ideology caused it. Then they elect someone that leans that direction. Yep. 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 All true facts. Entropy Nomad says, anyone can destroy a building, person, system. Try building a business, family idea. It's much harder. Building is much harder. And that's why there will always be people coming along trying to destroy it. And it's appealing. It's an easy pitch to sell. It really is. Unless you're talking to someone who is, half a brain. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't like thinking it through. They just hear about all the good parts and don't think through why that won't work. But what if it could? Because, they're dreaming of their utopia. You just read Animal Farm. It really spells it all out for you. Hans One Peck says communism in the past has failed and will always fail and when tried en masse. 100%! Listen to me. I played a Tim Pool clip where he was talking about, each man according to his needs, each man according to his abilities. He's like, no, each person according to their work. Because otherwise, when you determine their needs, that's determined by the state. What the state says is my needs, not what I'm saying my needs are. And their ability is also determined by the state. So they're going to tell you how hard you have to work and what they're going to give you for it. That's what that's slavery. That's what slavery ultimately is. That was Tim Pool's point. The point I made a long time ago as to why it is it must work, why it must fail, why even if it was successful in the very objective it's seeking must lead to misery. Has to. Is because no one can grant you happiness. The only way you can actually attain happiness, the way God designed us, you can call it God. If you're someone who still questions the existence of God, you can call it evolution. But we as humans are hardwired to find our happiness by struggling and working and earning it. By actually fighting through and earning it. So if someone is gifting you the way communism promises it will do, you're not happy. No one thinks Hunter Biden is happy. And trust me, it's not like the masses would be gifted the way Hunter Biden was. But even if they could be, somehow, the objective of giving people their happiness, giving them the comforts that they need, leading toward happiness, is folly if you spend 10 seconds examining how the human mind works. When you bust your tail trying to build something and you sell it, that is a feeling of success. When you bust your tail trying to make sure you can feed your family, rather than your food is allotted to you, that feels like success. That gives you happiness, a sense of purpose, a sense of accomplishment. If you're stripped of that, you have no sense of purpose. And without a sense, you're just a cog. You're a little worker ant who's basically slotted in to a giant machine that that no one really understands, and there's no way you're going to understand it. And is a bogged down slow machine, because in order to actually figure out when we should update and change the machine, you have to go through all this red tape and make sure everyone understands how we're making these changes and what's going to happen with that. So it's got to be approved. And then if there's a problem with that change, then getting a patch and fixing that change, it's just ridiculous. That's what Russia experienced when they were bogged down. That's why they fell. That's why their technological development was staggered way behind the United States of America. So, yeah. And that misery leads people to being desperate to flee. And that's why you end up having to build walls to keep people out. Whereas we, who have flourished with capitalism, have to build walls to keep people in a socialist society. As opposed to, because people are trying to flee. Well, we need them to work. So we're just going to lock them in here, like you're in prison. Because you're not happy in that society. No one is happy. The only people who might be happy are the pigs at the top, the Napoleons at the top, Old Major at the top. They're basically living like kings and sitting there like bossing everyone around. They're the ones who are happy. And even they aren't truly happy, but some sort of sense of creature comforts make that they can, find joy in. So, yeah, it is a promise of misery. That's what socialism is. It is a commitment toward misery. Our goal is that everyone will be miserable. Near the right, buy some meat, King of Bitong at, oh no, save 10%. This is totally lab meat, isn't it? Newer Divergent is giving me a link. Biltong, USA. Okay, this is, no. Ew, God, ew. Ew, what is that? What is he sharing with me? I should warn you to avert your eyes. What is this? What is he sharing with me? This is, oh my God. Does this look appetizing to anyone? Oh my gosh. People put this stuff in their mouths. Why? Oh yeah, if you use promo code Neuro, you save 10%. So if you're gonna buy, use promo code Neuro, Neuro, and you'll save 10%. So shocking that no one ever hired me to do ad reads for them. Even probably swears by it. It's South African beef jerky. Hands one says, does Trump do what Biden did and find the corruption in New York mayor's office? We know there will be. All communists are corrupt. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Not a bad idea. All right. The classless among us want a classless society. This is well said. Well said. Except subs. Everyone likes gifted subs. This is true. I'm saying when your life is taken care of for you, you're not going to be happy. No one's happy with that. No one wants that. All right, my friends. I think I covered all the chats. I need to go tend to this thing over here. I thank you all for joining me. God willing, tomorrow, hopefully, if you show up, maybe I'll have an eye patch. Maybe I will. We'll celebrate this Democrat win by dressing up like the most Democratic Republican out there. I thank you all for joining me. Make sure you understand that Lab Meat is for New Yorkers. It's not for you. Biltong USA is for you. Use promo code NEURO for 10% off. And do not eat the bugs. Don't do it. Don't do it. Good night, everyone. And as always, Godspeed.